Who you gonna be wrecking? Scott? All right, guys. We are live on
Yes,
the
one, two.
tubes, I believe. Let me make sure I'm muted. Yeah, I'm unmuted over here. Everybody else is too. All right. Live, guys. We are live in a Zoom meeting on the tubes here for our weekly podcast. This is episode number 21 of the Alien Factory podcast. Special guest tonight is Barney the iRacing flagman is our special guest for the podcast this evening as we get everything started off and kicked off here tonight. Also got our normal cast and characters and crew here at Area 51 in this one for you tonight. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to first address I'm in a sleeveless shirt tonight, guys. Just bear with my hairy arms. I can't help it. The air conditioner has been broke at my house for a couple of days over the weekend. I didn't want to pay like triple the rate to call
Yeah, she's
somebody
on
out over the
vacation,
weekend.
isn't she?
Uh,
Your air conditioning, she's on vacation, isn't she?
yeah, really. I didn't want to call somebody out over the weekend and get charged like triple the normal rate. So I want to call somebody on Monday. I'm burning up, so you have to bear with me in my sleeveless shirt here tonight and everything that's going
What's
on.
up?
So anyway, so tonight here we got the admirals here. Tracy Rumschlag, Admiral. How's it going?
Drop your beer, grab your gear. The Admiral's here. So it's going great. I've got through my first week of vacation, watched a bunch of little kids play football all week. It's been a good week. Did a little racing. I don't know if anybody knows or anybody's really interested. I know a lot of you guys aren't interested in road course, but iRacing put out a new the V supercars. They have a fixed series, and it was at the Wine Country in Watkins Glen, New York. So I got a chance to run a couple of those this week. The first one, not so good. I had some guy that thought it was better that he drove through me when I'm trying to brake for a corner instead of go around me. That kind of ended my race. And then the second time I raced with him, I was actually he was behind me and he knew better. He wasn't going to run me over this time, which I thanked him for. But had a good race, got some iRating, some safety rating, had some fun with the cars. I enjoy racing them cars. Did a couple sprint cars at I think it's Port Royal we were at this week in the 305s. Did okay there, finished top 5. Got some iRating safety rating there. And then last night, I actually went to an actual sprint car race. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars was in Sharon, Pennsylvania. I went over there, actually got to see some real racing, and that was their last show for the summer. So we'll see them next year, hopefully. But yeah, I had a good time with all that. That was a lot of fun, and we'll see what happens from here now for next week.
Hey Trace, how far is Sharon, Pennsylvania away from you up there in the Akron area?
Right. Sharon, believe it or not, the Sharon Speedway is actually in Hartford, Ohio. It's not in Sharon specific, but roughly about an hour away. It's still in the Ohio line. It's about 5 miles off between Sharon, Pennsylvania and Hartford, Ohio. So we're right on the border there, and that's Dave Blaney's place, which his boy runs NASCAR, which is Ryan Blaney. And both those guys were there last night. Dave was there and his brother Dale. And if you guys don't know them guys, Dave used to be a NASCAR driver, and then Dale, his brother, believe it or not, back in the day, he actually got drafted by one of the NBA teams. He was actually a professional basketball player. He's real tall. But yeah, those guys raced last night, and they put on a good show. It's a nice track, family environment, and even though they accommodate a lot of people, there's a lot of room. You're not crowded. It's a good time. So if you're ever in that area, I suggest going to Sharon Speedway, Dave Blaney's place.
Good deal. Trying to think of anything else going on with you this week, Trace. You've been racing some, you went to the race. Like how's your VR headset working out for you? Still playing around with that?
Yeah. Got the Reverb HB Reverb G2, which we talked about previously, and been spending more time in that, getting used to it. Very nice piece. If you have the means, I highly suggest you get one if you want to do VR. It eliminates a lot of the issues that some of the lesser, older type VR headsets do. I really enjoy it. It's still getting used to some of the isms of it or the novelty of it. I definitely would race more in VR with that headset, that's for sure. But other than that, it's a nice piece, and having a good time with it. I really enjoy it in the dirt because I can see more in the car, more immersion. It's just more enjoyable for me.
Absolutely. And Robert, let's move on to the number one team driver, Trace. We can't leave out the number one team driver. Robert Cook, man, how is it going? Like, you were about to ditch us tonight, Robert. I take that personally, and I'm sure every viewer is offended.
That's right, and should be. And put it in the chat if you are.
Whatever. Only reason I joined in here is because Scotty was here, and Scotty was doing excellent in Texas, and that's why I'm here. That's why. If it wasn't for Scotty, I would have ditched you guys in a heartbeat.
I know, and you're going to upset every viewer. I'm telling you.
Right. You're the face
nice,
that runs the
Robert.
place.
Oh, I tell you what. I'm not having a very good week with Scotty. I'm proud of him. He got that free monitor. He got taken up by somebody on the outside of him, and he got tired of that. And he went out and bought himself some monitors.
Yeah, see, now you're stealing Robert's thunder there, Robert.
I mean, I'm stealing Scotty's thunder.
I know, but I guess as number one team driver, you're allowed to do that.
I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, like show up or not show up here. No, my Texas hadn't been too good. I think I only lost a few points, but
on a scale of 1 to 10, how was the number one team driver's Matameter this week for the league race? Was it like a 10 or a 5? Like,
it stayed about a 2. I bet yours went up to about a 10. But
hey, can you bring me?
You okay,
Anyway.
Scott? Did we wake you? Sorry.
So what were you saying? What were you saying there, Robert? You said mine went up to a 10. Why do you say that?
Well, I think you bumped somebody.
Inform everybody about what happened in the league race.
You bumped somebody. Apparently, it was a teammate who had teammates out there, and they were trying to take you out. It looked like that's what it looked like to me. On a restart, someone trying to shoot down below you, barely missed me, and then you were just having difficulties going through the field. But you finished well. What you finished? 6th, 5th, or 6th?
Something like that.
Yeah, I finished 10th. Texas just not suit me. I think you got to be up on the wheel, and you got to be really aggressive in the corners. And it's just, I just don't have it, I guess.
Yes, I drove from the back. I didn't even qualify. I didn't have time. My wife comes back tomorrow night, guys.
All right. Yay, one for the good guys.
Yay, wife.
Yeah, well after the broadcast, though, she'll probably roll in about 11 o'clock or midnight.
Just as he's getting used to playing both rows, she comes back.
Yeah. Well, Robert was telling me I was huffing and puffing and trying to get into the league race because for some reason the power wouldn't turn on to my Reverb G2 Trace, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't want to race my monitor in the league race, and I'm like, because I'm just running on a single monitor is all I got. And I'm like, Robert, I was like, wait a minute, I'll be back. I said, I'm gonna go pull out my old Samsung Odyssey.
Yeah, they
VR
waited
headset.
for a whole minute for you. They held
yeah,
it
I want to go
a
get
whole
my Samsung Odyssey VR headset out of the closet. I was like, I'll be right back. It's my backup. And I ran and huffing and puffing in here, pulled my computer out real quick and unplugged the HP one and plugged in the Samsung. And I think my air conditioner actually went out that night, the Thursday night. It wasn't Friday, it was Thursday. And I just didn't realize it because it wasn't very hot Thursday, but I was kind of warm at night and couldn't figure out why it was so hot. I thought it was because I was messing around with my monitor, running around trying to get that headset, and I'm plugging it in, Trace, and I'm plugging this thing in the back of my computer, pulled out. I got my head back there, it's, all that hot air coming out of the back of my computer too, and I was sweating, man. My head was all hot, and my bald head was hot, and sweat was rolling down. And I put that headset on, and it's got real thick padding on it, and dude, I was steaming up the lenses, and I couldn't see nothing. And I'm like, but I got in. I guess the league waited 6. Yeah, the race control said, "Oh, we'll wait on him and give him a minute since he's having hardware problems." And he went over. So they went over the playoff rules. They're like, "We'll take the time to go over the playoff rules," which worked out for them, worked out for me. And I get in and I start clearing the back. I'm like in the last couple cars on the grid. And so it's hilarious. I'm like, Robert, it's like, I'm blowing on the lenses and I think it's okay. And I was going, like blowing air up towards my nose out of my mouth, and it was getting the steam off the lenses. And, after about 15 or 20 laps of doing that or more, my head started to cool down a bit and the lenses started to naturally unsteam and stuff, but that was hilarious. But then after that, I messed with my Reverb G2 and I unhooked everything. unplugged the power cable, like everything, completely unhooked it from everything, hooked it all back up, and it started working again. So I'm hoping that that's all it was. Like it's okay. But that was why I started in the back. I had to drive through the whole field and ended up finishing 5th or 6th. It was probably, I think I finished 20. I started like 23rd or 20 something and finished 5th or 6th. So that was pretty good drive through. But yeah, Robert, it was a pretty big mess getting through that field, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was bad, but you did pretty good.
I don't know why. I can't remember what made that team. Maybe I bumped somebody in the rear end or something, but I had like 2 or 3 guys in that team. Like it looked like to me actively try to take me out. And that one restart was funky. And I got it. I got going so late that I wasn't even able to stream the race online. So you guys never got to see that. But this dude, like I'm behind him on the restart. So I was kind of turned sideways. I'm behind him on the restart on the outside lane. He slows down and moves up above me, like way up against the wall. And in this lead, you're not allowed to change lanes before the start finish line. And I think they got a black flag. I don't know what happened, but he goes way up like this. We cross the start finish line. He slows down. And when I catch up to him, he swerves down in front of me, but he waits too late. Or no, not too late. He does it too early. And he turns himself across my nose and shoots down to the pits. That's how he got the black flag. And I'm like, what's this guy doing? And then after that, somebody else in their team tried to get me in turn 1 and 2 and bounced off of me, and they crashed themselves in the wall. And I walked away with like no damage, I don't think, whatsoever from it. They just kind of maybe neck coated off of me or something and crashed themselves. But I was like, me and Robert, like, what's going on? And Robert, I think you were behind me that whole time and just trying to make sure you didn't get caught up in any of it.
Yeah, that's all the guys shoot down, and he went through it, and like I said, he went through the cones and it cleared his black flag. And okay, what's going on here? I thought he'd liberally take you out.
Yeah, I think they were trying, but anyway, so that was a league race. So your mad level is only Robert, I think that's the lowest mad level you've had all season in this league.
Oh yeah, it was pretty mild for me. I just stayed back and was hoping somebody would just keep on wrecking.
Oh man, well, Scotty, you didn't race the league race this week, the Rapid Fire Pizza National Series League. It's on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. and it's Eastern time. So Scotty, you didn't race. You got some grandkids doing some baseball or something, and you're missing now to watch the grandkids, which I respect that completely. But you got some news, and Robert stole your thunder, man. So let's just tell us about your experience getting triples. What'd you get? What you got? Tell us about how you got it set up and what you think of it.
Well, I had to go out and get triples because I got tired of not being able to see what's off my right side. After I got hit the other day and taken out in a race, I was running 5th place, finished 21st after the crash, lost 70 something I rating after gaining 106 the day before. In 2 races, it takes you to gain a lot and you lose a lot in 1. You know how iRacing is. But anyway, I went and bought me some cheap 32-inch televisions from Walmart, set them on my desk, paired them up with my monitor, and now I've got 3 32-inch, and it feels like I'm wrapped in the car, and I love it. It's like night and day on a road course. My goodness, man, I don't know how I was driving the road course with just a single monitor, because you get the trip monitors and you can see the houses off to the right and to the left. You got different identifiers, and you can look over and see the track and cars on it out your right side. Depending on what track you're on, you can see it around the corner before you ever get to the corner. That's what I'm saying. And it's wonderful. I absolutely love the trip monitors.
And the reason why you got that is because you could have done well that if you saw that car going in that corner.
Yeah, exactly. What happened was we was coming around out of was accident 2, and normally if you're on the high side of somebody, you drift out to the wall. But there was a car, 4 or 5 cars in front of us that was already up in that high lane, and the guy on the outside of me decided he wanted to get a run and pass that guy before he entered turn 3, I guess. So as I come out, I stay on the low side of the middle lane, and he's on the high side of the middle lane. And all of a sudden he just turns down into me. Watching the replay, I can see this. but I didn't see anything in the car until his fender was already touching my right front fender. That's no time to react there. You know, it was like, and after that happened and I seen the replay and what happened, I'm thinking, man, if I only had trip monitors, I would be able to see that guy and see that he's coming at me before he got to me. I could have went left and dropped into the low lane because my car handled really well and missed the accident and stayed in 5th place, maybe 3rd, maybe 2nd, who knows. I was moving forward. And to get wrecked out when you're moving forward, really, you know, that bites.
Yeah, I hear you, Scotty. So Tracy's still trying to work out some mic problems, but Tracy got it worked out yet?
No, can't hear you.
No, still hasn't got it worked out. That's well, you may have to set it instead of using default Tracy.
He's got it muted. It's on mute.
You may have to specify the mic in Zoom, maybe.
Tracy, it's on mute. Click your mouse.
He was off mute a second ago, but he can try.
There you go.
Nope.
No.
Anyway, so we'll maybe hopefully Tracy get that fixed here in a second. He's working on it. But Scotty, so that's why you wanted to get triples. So what did you get, and like what did you get? How much money did it cost? Because that's what people a lot of the reasons why people don't get triples is because they're afraid of the cost.
If they get the triples, they might end up with a divorce.
Well, I'll tell you what I got. What I have is I've got a 32-inch Dell curved monitor in front of me. It runs 144 megahertz, has, you know, the high resolution of 1440. And it's a good monitor, but I couldn't scrape up the cash right now to go out and buy me 2 more of these monitors. And Walmart has some really sweet deals on cheap TVs, and they're TCL is the brand name. They cost $124 a piece. So you're looking right at $248. I think I spent $350 buying all the cables and everything else that I needed to hook up, because I've got 3 connectors on my graphics card. One's DVI, one's a video port, and then you got the HDMI port. So I had to configure all them to run to each component that I have. And I have my monitor on the DP or the video. And then I have one of the TVs running on the HDMI, one running with an HDMI cord to the DVI adapter, which turns it to HDMI. And that's how I've got it set up and rigged up. And, you know, I've got a 1050 Ti, my video card, NVIDIA 1050 Ti, and it powers everything up pretty good. I can run decent frame rates if I turn things down. Mike helped me yesterday, and I was running 55, 60 hertz during the middle of a race. So it's not too bad.
That's hertz or frames? Is that hertz or frames?
Or frames, I mean. Yeah, frames. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, FPS.
The frames per second, it matches up, but he is to the like, so on the monitor they label it in hertz. So on the monitor, if it runs 60 hertz, that's equal to 60 frames per second.
Even at 35, my video was smooth. I didn't have any issues with glitching, or, you know how on Flight Sim when you was running 30 or 20 or something like that, you'd have pauses in your flying. Well, iRacing don't do that. It's still smooth. Everything was still working good. So I was happy with 35 frames per second. It didn't bother me a bit. I couldn't see any difference in 35 or 60.
Yeah, but I mean, you want to get the 60 for input and reaction times and stuff, and not only that, but your TVs will do 60. So you want to try to get as close to what your TVs will do, the maximum there. So you got TVs, so you got TCL 32.
You plan on getting other monitors later, though, right?
Yes, I am, and I'm gonna try to upgrade my video card or my PC here before too long.
And he said that the people that he's probably going to get those TVs away for Christmas gifts, guys. So if you're a relative, get a friend or a relative, Scotty, and you got some 32-inch TVs. Well, Scotty just got done using them, and he says they're all checked out fine.
Before I went and spent the money on 2 more monitors, I wanted to make sure that my video card would first carry the load of 3 32s, and it does. And it'll probably run even better once I get the monitors, because they'll all be the same high resolution monitors. These TVs are not, they're 1080p.
Right. So you had to downgrade your middle resolution to 1080p to match the other two, right, Scotty?
Yes, I had to downgrade it to 1080p, correct. Now they say you don't have to do that, Mike, but it's recommended that you do that.
Well, yeah. Well, you can't do NVIDIA surround unless you do it, but we got you off NVIDIA surround. Anyway,
but he's thinking about going back to video surrounds if he's having difficulties right now, aren't you, Scotty?
No.
Well, I was talking about going back to video surround, and I did today, but it was still messed up. I tinkered with it a lot today. And so now I've got video surround turned back off because I don't like it. And I'm back the way Mike had me set up last night. I had to go in and find out. I typed something wrong and I couldn't even get my, when my racing sim loaded, nothing came up on the screen. And I could go down to my taskbar and I could see it running, but it wasn't on the screen. And I'm like, well, I must have put something in wrong. And I got the Y and the X mixed up and stuck the negative 1920 on the, I think it's the Y instead of the X. One of them zeros, one's negative 1920.
Yeah, so guys, you probably, Scotty probably lost you. He's talking about going in and editing the app.ini file and the and the render DX11
renderer file.
Yeah, the render DX11.
It's not an app file anymore.
Files. Yeah, so he was talking about doing that, and he's probably lost some of you guys has never done that before, been talking the tech part of it. But Scotty, I will tell you though, the statement you made is not correct as far as like you think if you get two other 1440p monitors that it'll run better. That's just the opposite. Like your 1050 Ti just can't push that many pixels. Like it can, you're barely getting to 60 frames a second, and you're just under running 3 1080p monitors. So if you were to kick that up,
it's going to draw more power. I know that.
Yeah, your video card won't be able to handle it. You'll have to upgrade video cards if you go to 1440p resolution on all three.
I plan on upgrading my video card, Mike, so that I'll be able to hold the monitors.
Yeah.
This is in the future, but for right now, I'm happy with what I got.
Yeah, it'll look nice once you get 1440p.
He'll probably get a 4010 or 4080 or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm going to buy
by the time that comes out again.
Scotty, Cody,
buy me some 40-inch.
Cody Trilindy said Scott needs to upgrade to that 40 series GPU that's getting ready to come out. He says you need to get one of the brand new ones, top of the line.
Who said that?
Cody Trilindy.
Tell me we'll do what now?
Cody Trilindy said Scott's going to need to upgrade to that 40 series GPU coming out.
Oh, okay. For the NVIDIA card?
Yeah, they're releasing a new 40 series card.
It's probably going to cost you more than your 3 monitors plus some, Scotty.
Probably so, yeah. That's probably what, a couple $1,000?
No. They're probably the 4090 is like 1,500, but the 4080 is coming in 2 flavors. 4080 is coming in a 12 gigabyte video VRAM configuration at like $899, and then it's coming in a 16 gigabyte VRAM configuration for like $1199, I think. But there's more than just the VRAM difference. The 16 gigabyte one for $1199 is going to be a decent amount more power. I mean, not like heads and tails, about 5 to 10% more powerful than the lesser model one. But anyway, that's the first two. That's the first 3 cards they've released specs on. And I'm sure later on down the road they'll release a 4070 and a 4060 and a 4050 or whatever, like they have with the other cards as well. But they always start with the top tier and work their way down. And then the 30 series cards are still available. Scotty, you get you like a 3060 or 3060 Ti, and that'd be all you'd need for a while.
Or a 3080, yeah, it's good.
Oh, 3080, you get like a 3060 Ti for like 3 something probably, and that would run triple 1440p's all day long, no problem at all. But anyway,
which one did you say?
Yeah,
the 40, 3040?
3060 Ti.
3060?
Yeah,
Ti.
3060 Ti. That would be a good card to consider to run 3 1440p monitors. Well, anyway, Scott, that's good, man. So you're hooked up with those TVs. You're running 60 hertz. 3 monitors, and your 1050 Ti's it's barely doing it, but it's getting the job done. You got smoke rolling off the thing, but it's working. So
Hey, that's
works.
all that matters is it's smooth and I can see to my right side and I can see to my left side. And I like the field of view. It wraps me in the car. I feel like I'm in the car.
And you're also
It
using
may
your
not
speakers.
be.
Tell them about
it
you
may
using
not-
your speakers.
Do what?
Tell them about you using your speakers on your monitor.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
yeah.
another thing I like about the TVs. The TVs came with speakers, so now I have 4 sets of speakers.
He's got one buddy talking on one ear, one someone talking on the other side. He got the crew chief or us talking in his ear.
Yeah, well, I've got you guys on a headset. Well, right now you're on my left TV, but on a race, I've got you guys in my headset on Discord, and then I got my crew chief coming in the TV on the left. I got the voice chat for the race coming in on my right TV, and then I have coming in through my speaker. I have the oh my goodness, I can't think of it.
The motor or anything.
The motor, and also stint analyzer. Yeah, so I have 4 speaker sets, which is really nice to be able to separate everything out like that. Is
Mikey
everybody muted now?
No,
Robert, I
just
think we lost Mike and Tracy.
Mike muted us, I guess, for some reason.
No, he didn't mute us. He muted himself.
Yeah, he did. He's gone.
And Tracy, he's
No,
gone
I'm not
too.
gone. I'm right here. I had to cough, and I didn't want to cough.
Oh,
live
that's
on
nice.
the mic
That's
when
nice of
Scotty
you.
was
That's nice
talking.
of you.
Yeah, that's awful nice of you.
So Scotty's got voices coming all over the place now, boy. I'll tell you what, he's got surround sound going on.
That is one good factor about having TVs versus monitor, unless you get a monitor that comes with speakers.
Right. Yeah, Tracy's having some mic problems. I'm trying to help him through it in chatting back and forth with him in Discord, typing back and forth. So that's
Well, it's a
kinda-
good thing
We
I showed
seen you
up.
was busy. I knew what you was doing.
So anyway, so here's the thing. So all this triple talk. I've been talking about triples now for a while, haven't I, Robert? Just like getting them for my streaming where I live stream all those race.
Yeah,
all my-
Mikey got some triples.
He's getting them. He's going to get them.
So I've been
got 'em
talking
coming.
about it for a while.
I just don't, when he's streaming, I don't know if it's going to help him on streaming, but
I think it'll make his driving better. He won't be as twitchy with the wheel because he won't be jerking his head left and right all the time.
Well, when you're watching the stream, you get all this eye movement, and you're trying to look at it. Well, who's behind?
I know
it
he's
and
all
that.
over the place.
He just his
bobblehead.
Yeah, he turns that head about as much as he's turning the steering wheel back and forth. I think. Wait till he gets the butt kicker or whatever he's going to get underneath his seat here pretty soon. He's going to be jumping all over the place.
Yeah. So and then Scotty got his triples. Tell me how much he liked it. I was helping him set it up. It looked pretty cool. And I'm like, man, so I started looking around again, and no blur. Which project streams? No more Blair. Which project stream? Yeah, really. Yeah, Cody's agreeing with you guys. He said no more Blair Witch project streams. I don't know if you guys remember that movie back in like the late 90s or early 2000s or mid 2000s where it was like all like point of view cameras and them running around like cameras moving everywhere. But yeah,
sometimes you forget to set his monitor and you're looking at the rear view mirror the whole entire race.
Yeah. So anyway, so I've been thinking about it for a while. I put aside some money for it, but I just hadn't pulled the trigger, and I hadn't saved up all the money yet, but I had more than half. I had more than half the money I thought I was going to need to do it saved up. And so anyway, Scotty gets his, and so I'm like, man, I was like, well, let me look around again. Let me see if I can see what monitor's going for. Because I went on YouTube and I found some YouTubers that did some pretty good videos on like how to get because I do more gaming than just iRacing, and I got a 43-inch 4K TV as my main monitor here, and I use my computer for more than just iRacing. I don't want to have a separate computer for iRacing, so I was looking up some YouTube videos on some people who had got creative with like sharing one PC and having a sim rig set up like beside their desk or on the other side of their desk or like a few feet away, like another wall in the room or something, and then using the one computer to like power both their desktop and their sim racing monitors at the same time, be able to switch back and forth between the setups with one computer. And then also I still want to use my VR headset, not just for iRacing, but for other things too. I play other games in VR and stuff sometimes. Like to do flight sim every once in a while, like Scotty does, and play a game called Elite Dangerous sometimes, and it does VR space flight sim. And but there's some other things, Star Wars Squadrons in VR. And so anyway,
we heard you, Tracy.
All right, thanks. That's a good
Hey,
sign.
Tracy's back, guys.
Dang.
So yeah. Anyway,
sorry to interrupt, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, it's okay, Tracy. I had you unplug. Did unplugging your VR headset? Did that fix it?
No, it was the fob for my headset.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so because of all this, I wanted to still use VR some, and if you keep unplugging stuff on your video card all the time, over a little bit of time, it could wear out ports and damage the ports on your video card. So I wanted to have it all set up and all hooked up to where I didn't have to keep plugging and unplugging. And I saw a few different solutions, 2 or 3 different solutions online for this. And there was a guy who did an awesome YouTube video on it. In fact, I'll put that up in the chat too if anybody's interested in this. Because I didn't want to use I didn't want to have to set my sim rig chair to use my computer. Like that was just a no-go for me. And that really held me off for a while on doing this. And like I said, I didn't want to have another computer. And so this dude made this really good YouTube video, and in the title of the picture, like the thumbnail that he has for a video, like really, really encapsulated what my problem was. He said, "One PC and too many screens," right? Was what's on his caption. And I'm throwing this in the chat right now for anybody interested in how to do this down in the live chat. But basically, he involves a bidirectional video switcher to be able to have hooked up to one of your sim rig monitors and your desk monitor, and then you would have your two of your triples hooked directly up to the video card, and then you'd have your VR headset permanently directly hooked up to your video card and your desk monitor and like say your middle sim rig monitor. Then you would hit that switch. And the cool thing is, and if you guys want a lot of detail, watch the video. But the cool thing about it is that Windows, if you go into Windows and you disable monitors, so like if I have the switch on my main PC monitor, and I go into the window display settings, and I disable all the other monitors, then it remembers that. So every time it sees my desktop monitor, my desk monitor, it will remember, hey, go disable these other 2 monitors. Okay. And then when you switch over to the sim rig monitor, you literally hit a physical switch, and you like nail it on the side of your desk or something. You hit that physical switch and it switches over, say, the middle monitor on your sim rig. And then you go into it, and then all the other monitors will show up, and then you go disable your desktop monitor. And so every single time that it's switched over to the sim rig middle monitor, it'll remember to disable your desktop monitor. And Windows remember those settings. Then all you got to do is just hit that switch. And the moment you hit the switch, your desktop monitor turns off, and all 3 of your sim rig monitors turn on, and vice versa. When you're done, you hit the switch and those turn off, and your desktop turns on. A really, really cool way to handle this issue of wanting to have triples, VR, and a desk monitor all hooked up to the same PC and functioning together. And so once I saw that video that this guy did, that I just threw down there in the chat for you guys to check out after the podcast is over. If you're interested in this kind of thing, he goes into grave detail, even draws a little diagram of how all the things are connected and stuff. And then he demonstrates it for you. So once I saw that, guys, I was like, I'm all in. I'll check this out. And Scotty got his, like, this is cool. And so I threw another link. It's up there a little ways. It's up there a little ways in the live chat now. So I was pilfering around, and I got on the eBay, or I did a Google search, and I was looking on Amazon at first, and I saw these LG monitors that had like NVIDIA G-Sync on them, and they had a 1080p version, and they also had a 1440p version at 32 inches. And really at 32 inches, you want a 1440p, but I was willing to just do 32 or 32 inch 1080ps to do sim racing on if they were cheap enough. And Amazon had the 1080p version of this LG monitor with NVIDIA G-Sync and everything for like $199 refurbed or renewed. And so I was like, well, I wonder if I find them cheaper anywhere else. So I did a Google search, and an eBay link shows up, and they had them for $159. And then I was like, well, I wonder if they got the other one, the 1440p here on eBay. And they did. And it was only $10 more. So these LG Ultra Gear 32-inch 1440p monitors, 165 hertz refresh rate, and it has NVIDIA G-Sync in them. And they're normally like $280 brand new or something like that. $280, $290 brand new. I got them new open box for $169 a piece on eBay. And I was like, that's it. I was like, this is too good of a deal to pass up. And I pulled the trigger on all three. And then I went and bought my GT Omega monitor mount for my 80/20 rig, and I got everything coming to my house. So that's my story.
And don't forget about the butt kicker, whatever you get.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Robert. Robert's been talking about a butt kicker forever. He's like, he said, it makes you regular, Tracy. That butt kicker makes Robert regular.
You know, because racing causes constipation because you're all tense, and then the butt kicker kind of loosens it up. So after a race or just before a race, when you're running for practice, you need. Well, I'll be right back, guys.
Well, I know women usually deal with constipation more than men. So Tracy, if your wife's kind of plugged up, get you one of those butt kickers and have her turn a few laps in the race.
What are you saying? I'm a woman.
She'll be able to go right to the bathroom. Oh, shoot. Oh no, Trace, your audio's out again.
You're gonna enjoy that. You're gonna enjoy that transducers and stuff. You're really gonna enjoy it.
Hey Trace, let me tell you something else out there. You might want to ditch the headset and just turn the volume up when you're monitored a little bit, and just turn your headset off, unplug the receiver for it, and use your webcam's got a mic on it, and just revert to your webcam mic maybe. Yep, there you go. That's like a last resort. Turn everything else off and resort to your webcam.
Is his mic not working again?
Yeah, he's got something going on. So anyways, so Robert's been on me about getting a butt kicker, a base shaker, a transducer, whatever you call it, for a while. And Robert has the name brand butt kicker. And I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know. So when I was doing this whole deal, I found other guys on YouTube doing videos about transducers, which is basically what the butt kicker is. It's a transducer. It's basically a speaker without the ability to make any sound. Another name for them is called a bass shaker. And I found some guys that were buying some of them and doing it themselves instead of getting the butt kicker brand. And dude, I picked up one that I'm hoping is going to be, close to the same power as the butt kicker. I got it for $47 and some change plus sales tax on Amazon with the free Amazon Prime shipping. And I got they call them Knob Sound, NOB Sound or something like that is the brand. And they're basically, because you got to have an extra sound card or something to push one of these bass shakers or butt kickers, whether it's internal or external to your computer. Well, these are amps and the sound card in one, and they were only $33 and some change plus tax. So I had like $85 in total. And having one of those now, I'm going to mount it under my seat. And I have the whole thing hooked up on my sim rig for $85. So I'm happy about that. Where the butt kicker costs what, Robert? Get the butt kicker and the amp they sell with. It's like two something, isn't it?
About 150, I think, something like that.
Is that with the amp though too, or just?
Yeah, that comes with everything. I think that's what I paid for. Only thing about the butt kicker, I had to turn it down if I wanted to be really shaking and really rumbling me pretty good. It would get hot and then it would shut itself off. And so you gotta. I can reach down and touch the butt kicker. If it get warm, I got a remote volume control on it, so I can just reduce the amperage going or whatever volume to it, so it would not be so hot. So you can get this thing shaking big time, but it won't last very long. You get overheat and then it would just shut itself off.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what I'm doing, guys. I'm putting in the link to the live chat if any of you guys are interested in this. we're talking a lot about equipment upgrades today. Scotty got an upgrade.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
your left arm keeps disappearing. My wife looked at you, says, "Where's his left arm?"
It's all this hair, man. It makes it thinks it's not my body. It's making it think like it's something other than me.
It's blending in with your background when you're moving around. If you turn
Yeah.
to the left a little, it blends in with the background there.
Sasquatch or whatever.
Disappears.
Yeah, he
That's
Bigfoot.
much I
Sasquatch, yeah.
am, man. Yeah, as I was growing up and stuff, man, I had to put up with all those jokes about being hairy and stuff. But it is what it is. Now
Got hair
I have
all over
more
his
hair on
arm
my
and probably
than I
his
have on
back,
top
but
of my
none on
head.
top yet.
Yeah, you ain't got no hair on your head.
Yeah, let me share my screen. I'll show you guys. So, Scotty, this is something you might want. Like, you could put one of these in the bottom of your your office chair, whatever chair you're sitting in. You don't even need a sim rig to use these. There's plenty of videos of guys just strapping these to the bottom of their chairs. And whether
Yeah, I could use that.
it's pretty cool, and they're cheap too. Let me share my screen. I put some links in the live chat there for all you guys. Let me share my screen to let everybody see what I'm talking about. This is a pretty cool solution as far as price. It's really cheap for base shakers. There we go. I've shared my screen with everybody. Scotty, you should be able to see this now, and Robert and everybody watching. So this is the amp, Robert, that I got. It's called Knob Sound Mini. And it's a 100-watt amp, but 50 watts times 2 channels. So you can run two bass shakers off one of these. Okay. And it's only $33.99. So $34 plus tax, free shipping with Amazon Prime. And what it is it's an amp and a sound card in one. So you don't have to have a separate sound card. It's both. It's the amp and the sound card. And it's got a volume adjustment, or basically a power adjustment, volume adjustment. So you knob on the top of it there. And you can just like use double-sided sticky tape or like some self-adhesive Velcro or something, and like slap this amp and just mount it on any
You
rig
want
or
that?
chair.
You want that near you where you can turn it down or whatever.
Right. You can slap it on your chair, your sim rig right there close to you, and just use that knob, that volume knob, to turn the shaking, vibrations up and down right there next to you. It hooks up through USB, USB sound. So it hooks up USB to your computer, and that's what that. And like I said, it's a sound card and amp in one. It comes with a power adapter. It's got an on-off switch on it there. It's a really nice little piece. There's a ton of people doing this. Well, not a ton, but there's a decent amount of YouTube videos out there about this. A couple handful of them. If you do a search for it, you'll find them. I can put one up there to that as well in the live chat. So that's the amp and sound card in one that I got. And then the other thing I got here was, here it is. Here's the bass shaker. It's a Dayton Audio, and Dayton Audio makes several of these. They even make one a little more powerful than this. This is the BST. It stands for Beast. That's what they're calling it because it's such a big bass shaker. But it's the Beast version 1. They also make a version 2 that's a bit more powerful for like $75. But most people said that it was overkill for sim racing. The other one was, and that this one right here was really, really solid for sim racing. So it's a 50-watt bass shaker, so it goes good with that 50-watt per channel amp. They match up perfect. And then this right here is the thing I'm thinking about getting in the future. I'm thinking about getting 2 of these pucks. They're like half the power of the bigger one, and putting one on each side of my pedal plate in the front, like on each edge of my pedal plate on my 80/20 rig, to simulate the front wheels, the left and right front wheel. And they're only like, I have to get another amp, so I have another $35 in the amp, and these things are only like $19 a piece. Yeah, $19.95. So anyway, that is what I got, or I'm getting. Let me throw these links down there in the chat as well if anybody's interested in these bass shakers. These are pretty cool.
How you gonna mount those to your pedals? Your pedal shifters? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
He's got that 40/80 or whatever it is, where you're just gonna screw them onto the side there, Scotty.
well, either that or I could screw them into my metal pedal plate. Robert, like, you got a pedal plate on your rig too, where your pedals mount to the rig.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just drill holes down to that pedal plate and screw them in. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can mount these things.
I'll mount them for the frame if I was you. Just put them
Right,
left and right of
right.
the frame.
So there's some links to those guys to Amazon for these base shakers and stuff if you guys want to get those. But so yeah, man, I'm doing a
Your
big
house is
upgrade.
going to be a rocking. Just don't keep on knocking. However that song
I'm gonna
goes.
have triples and my butt's gonna be shaking. And
Any luck, Mike? You got me yet?
Yeah, we got you, dude. You sound great. Yeah.
We'll see how long it lasts this time.
Yeah. So anyway, my butt's gonna be shaking. I'm gonna have all kind of stuff going on, guys. So if y'all interested in those upgrades, I'm gonna have a pretty decked out rig. I'm gonna have triples, VR, butt shakers, all kind of stuff going on.
Got no excuses now.
Oh my, watch out world, here he comes.
Oh, he's
That's
going to have
right.
probably a lot more excuses. I think.
Now he'll be even more aggressive because he'll be able to feel it when he starts to spin.
Yeah. They even got a sound where it gives a thud on your butt whenever you shift gears to make the shift and feel more realistic. So Scotty, yeah, if you want to get one of those base shakers, we'll get together later. I mean, there's not much when you got a few bucks to rub together there for that. Like
I got a few. If I can my wife will let me spend it.
Yeah, you got that $35 amp, and then we'll get you the $85 total, plus maybe like 2 or 3 feet of speaker wire is all you need. And you'd be set up. So anyway, Trace, you want to get you we can get you hooked up with some butt shakers. You want to get your butt cheeks rumbling on your sim rig?
Yeah, for a start and park guy, that's what I need. Yep, absolutely. You know. Hey, I just work on them. I don't drive them. That's your guys' business. I don't need no butt shakers. I got telemetry.
Yeah, there you go. So Trace, our special guest tonight, we'll have is Barney the iRacing flagman.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what. And on a programming note, I gotta apologize. I've been trying for almost a month now to get Barney the iRacing flagman, and I finally did. But unfortunately, iRacing reached out to me. One of their representatives reached out to me, and his contract doesn't allow him to do podcasts. So unfortunately, Barney's not going to be able to be here tonight. I was really hoping we had him. I thought we did there for a while, but yeah, they got a hold of me. iRacing got a hold of me and said he couldn't do it contractually, and there was nothing they could do about it. And I was like, oh my God, we can't even get him on the show. So anyway, yeah, I got to apologize to all our viewers and stuff. Barney was supposed to be here. We thought he was going to be here. And then, like I said, iRacing got a hold of me this week and it wasn't able to do it. So nothing we can do. I don't know. It's just part of the show business, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to have to
maybe you'll get Junior next time then, huh?
Yeah, we're going to have to talk to iRacing because we tried to get Matt Holden and he was like, he would come on, but iRacing doesn't allow their employees to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I get it. That extends clear to Barney, the iRacing flagman.
Yeah. Who knew? Right. So yeah, anyhow, so we tried to get Matt, couldn't get Matt. So I thought we'd get Barney. Unfortunately, same set of circumstances. So everybody I'm thinking of, like Christian Challoner and all them guys, especially after we talked to Garrett Mashburn last week with the old crew. I was trying to get some of the people from my past, and unfortunately it's just not working out.
So so the topic, I want to have a super long podcast. Kind of the topic I want to talk tonight about and bring up was the iRacing protest system, just in general, guys.
Oh, this is a good one here, guys.
Exactly. Everybody's got thoughts about this, right? And I've got some real issues with it. Like real legitimate constructive criticism of some of the things they do and some ways that I think they can improve it. And they'll probably never watch this, but maybe they will. I don't know. But I mean, well, Scotty, go ahead. We'll start with you. What is your major issues with the iRacing protest system is the way it's currently implemented?
My issue?
Yeah, you laughed
right?
when I brought it up.
Well, no, I was laughing at the fact that you got protested over. I couldn't believe that you got protested. That's what I'm ready for. And I couldn't believe that iRacing actually gave you a warning for that. I could not believe it. I mean, just the other day, I had a guy intentionally rear end me, and I didn't protest him because
it was Mike. Oh, okay.
He's just being a kid. He's driving like a kid, and somebody out there will protest him one day, and he'll get his time will come. That's just not very professional to just go and rear end somebody because he tried to come down on me and wrecked his car doing it. and then he hits me in the back end after
All right,
the race.
so I'll get into my deal because I think this
But
is
you're the one
hilarious.
that got protested, and I think it's kind of stupid what the
Oh
protest
yeah,
was.
I want to air this one to the world. Like I want
You
everybody.
should show the video too,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
and let
going to show
everybody
the whole
see it
thing here in a minute.
because that's just ridiculous.
Well, you guys need to be like me. I've been protested a few times, but I have never protested. People protested on my behalf, but I have never protested.
Well,
But neither I've never protested either, and I've only been protested once, and it was just a warning.
well, as we all know, out of everybody on the team, I have spent the most time involved in the iRacing.
Yeah, you've been
protest
protested
system.
like 6 or 7 times, ain't you?
Yeah,
Oh.
well, he gets stuck in the penalty box. I probably,
Yeah, probably more than that. I've pretty much had an annual conversation with them about every year I've been on
you got him on
iRacing.
speed dial. At least you used to, don't you?
Well, no, but the last time wasn't because of me. The last time I had to talk with him was because of something that happened between him and
teammate.
Doug.
Yeah.
And I got kind of pulled into it. But the first time was because of me, and I had to have a little chat with him about some stuff. Anyway, but so I pretty much know the ins and outs of the iRacing protest system and the appeal system and the whole process. I've lost some appeals, I've won some appeals, I've been protested, and that kind of stuff a lot. Like in my first year on iRacing,
Well, you guys
protested
got
a
to
lot.
realize when Mike protests you or gets to protest, it's a page long. He's explaining himself. He doesn't.
I hardly ever protest anybody except for ridiculously horrible, obscene language repeatedly in a race.
Well, I'm just saying sometimes when you do your protest, it's pages.
Yeah, but that's if there's like a lot of drama on the track. And like, Robert, I can't remember the last time I protested somebody for wrecking or anything like that. Like sometimes I say I will, and then it's just too much effort. Sometimes I'm like, if it's really bad, like Tommy Helly drove through me the other day, like literally just drove through me.
Is this what we're going to get into?
In a minute, but I told him I was going to protest him, and I really meant to. But then I was in a hurry and didn't save the race. And I know I could use my YouTube stream video, but I was just like, you know what? It's not worth my time because all he's going to get a warning, and it doesn't really matter. So I didn't even fool with it. So again, I'm just telling anybody out there, the only thing I ever protest anybody over is ridiculous amounts of obscene language in a race.
Did you protest my nephew?
That was, yes, I did a long time ago. Yeah, he deserved it.
Well,
That was a couple of years ago.
Well, you needed to get it out of the way. You were blocking too much. You just
anyway, so that's one issue, and I'll bring that up and we'll talk about that because that's ridiculous. But that's not really why I wanted to bring this up. Oh, somebody's saying show it. We're teasing. Oh no, Gloomy, you got to hang on and wait for the podcast here for a few minutes, and we'll show it. But I want to talk about the iRacing protest system as a whole, and then we'll get to what happened to me. Because what happened to me is not the reason I wanted to bring this up. I've been having this on my, I've had this in my hip pocket as something to talk about for the last 2 months, just in case we ever had a week where we didn't have a guest, and we did this week. So I wanted to talk about this prior to this even happening to me this week. But here's my problems with the iRacing protest system. One, it's anonymous. I have a huge problem with it being anonymous. You should be able to face your accuser. I mean, that's just an American thing. If somebody's going to accuse you of something, you should be able to face your accuser and know who protested you. If you're man enough to write a protest, you should be man or woman enough, whatever. You should be man enough to put your name to it, and say you did it. And if somebody is sitting there, I don't try to be the language police, but if somebody's sitting there cussing up a storm and it's ridiculous and stupid amounts of profanity and people have asked them to stop and they keep doing it, then yeah, I don't mind putting my name to that. Somebody could call me, they could call me names or whatever for doing it. I don't care. But I openly admit that I do that. But it's rare, but if it's bad enough, I will. But so that's one issue. And iRacing will never change that they believe in the anonymous system because they don't want their protest system being yeah. And Gloomy's right. So Gloomy said that would bring retaliations. That's true, and that's why iRacing protects people by doing an anonymous system. I know why they do it. Disagree with it, but I totally understand it. But people know who it is that protests them anyway. If somebody says so-and-so wrecked me, if somebody writes a protest that says Scotty wrecked them, well, and it tells you what session it is, and Scotty was only in one wreck, and they said he wrecked me, then it doesn't have to be anonymous because you know who it was, right? That filed the protest. So it's not really that anonymous of a protest system unless you intentionally try to write in the third person and really try to hide who you are, or whatever. Because even though it's anonymous, the person that gets protested gets to see the entire protest description that you write. So whatever you write and submit to iRacing, even though it's anonymous, if you list names or car numbers, or if you say so-and-so did something to me, they know who it is. I mean, the person who gets it automatically knows who it is then, probably. So it's not that anonymous anyway. But so that's one issue I have.
Well, you probably already got an idea it's coming anyway.
Usually somebody does. Now, the one I got this week, I was totally just shocked by. I was like, what? I was like, what are they talking about? So anyway, so that's one issue I have with it. The other two issues I have with the iRacing protest system is that there's a lot of warnings up front, right? So somebody does something totally egregious and just intentionally cleans somebody out or whatever, and 5 people protest them. And it's just like the most egregious thing you see on the track in a year. Okay. That person gets a warning if it's their first offense. Like they're not getting punished for what they did. They're only getting a warning because it was their first time, say, right? Like it's a progressive system. So no matter what it is you do, you get warning and warning and warning and warning and warning. And then finally they may suspend you. But when they do, it's for a whole week. Like it goes from a warning of nothing to a pretty punitive punishment, clear up to a week.
That stays on your record for a year, right? Even
I believe so. They won't tell you the exact number, but from my conversations with people and in my personal experience, I think that your incidents, or not incidents, I think your protests stay on your record for a year before they come off. Kind of like when you get points on your license for a driver's license, every so many years it comes off. Well, in iRacing, I think it's a year. It's a rolling 12-month period. So once an incident's 12 months old, then I don't think it counts towards any punishments in the future. So my first problem is we protest people all day long, and they just give them warning after warning and don't do anything to them. But when they finally do, they'll kick them off for a whole week, or they'll kick them off for a month or something crazy. So my issue is it's very light up front. Like there's not really any real punishment up front. But when you get to the back end, and I experienced this when I tried to clean my driving up, people were still protesting me for just anything they could because they were so mad at everything I'd done to them. And by that time I had 4 or 5 incidents or whatever on my record. And by that time I was in suspension territory. And so I was sitting there trying to clean up my driving, doing better. And I got a protest in, and I ended up getting suspended for a week. And I appealed it, and I actually won and got the suspension taken away. But it was the point was because what it was they protested. Here's how I got the appeal won. What it was that was protested was relatively minor, and it really only deserved a warning. But since I was 5 or 6 protests in now, it automatically was a suspension no matter how minor it was. So like no matter how minor the infraction, once you hit that number that they have predetermined, you have, I do have a lot of beefs about the protest system, right? So whenever you hit that number that's predetermined to when you start getting suspensions, it doesn't matter how minor the infraction is at that point. You get the suspension, and that's why I got it overturned. It's like, yeah, this wasn't really a big deal. It was kind of minor, and we see where it probably wasn't intentional here. We'll overturn the suspension, and they did. And then they'll go, and then once you get a suspension for 1 week, the next one's a month, and the next one's like 3 months, and the next one's 6 months, and you're like permanently banned. So the suspensions are very severe on the back end, but very light on the front end. So here's my suggestions, and I want to see what you guys think.
So if you get the permanent ban, what do you got to do? Buy another motherboard, get a whole new IP address, and change your name.
You're supposed to be permanently banned from iRacing. I know some people just go start new accounts, but if they find out that you did, then then they can ban the new account too. It's you as a human being are personally banned from iRacing, permanently banned from iRacing at that point. In fact, if you have the way the bans work, if you have second accounts, like a burner account, Robert, and you get a ban on your burner account, or you get a ban on your regular account, they're supposed to ban both. Like, it's you as a human being, not that account is banned from iRacing.
You just got to go change your name, get a false identity, then, huh?
So Gloomy said something. So one of our viewers said, "Hey, we should be able to see the outcome of the protest. You can, and here's how you see it." Again, I've been so heavily involved in the protest system. So when you send a protest, you'll get one email that says, "Thank you for submitting this, taking the time to submit this protest." And it's a form letter. Okay. And then a few days later, because it takes them a day or two to review the protest. And once they review it, you'll get one of two letters back from iRacing. And they always say the same thing. If you won the protest and they agreed with you, and the person you protested will then get a letter telling them that iRacing sided against them, and they thought what you protested was accurate, and that person did whatever violation of the sporting code. Okay. And if that's the case, then you'll get an email back as well that says, we have reviewed the protest, and the member under protest has been notified. So if you get an email that says the member under protest has been notified, that means you won your protest against them. Because if you don't win your protest and iRacing says, no, there was nothing wrong here, it was just a racing incident and nobody was at fault and there was nothing wrong or whatever, then they'll never let the person know. The person that you protested will never know that you protested, and iRacing will not contact them. So if you get that letter that says the member under protest has been notified, that means you won. It says, yes, but we don't get to know the punishment done. That's correct. Yeah, they never tell you the punishment. That's right. That's one issue too, that you never know what resulted. And a lot of times we see that same driver back out on the track the next day. So they only got a warning, right? So if you get that letter from iRacing that says the member under protest has been notified, and then you see the same driver back out on the track the same day or the next day, then yeah, they just got a warning. They didn't get suspended. They'd have to be gone for a week. I've done it before, like a long time ago when it was there's been a couple times where it was really egregious. And I went and checked the driver's, under the driver's profile. Like if you protest them, you get that message back that they were notified, and then you don't see them for a few days. You can be like, oh, maybe they did get punished. And you can go look at their driver profile, and it has your last 10 races listed in your driver profile summary. And you can see, like, if it's been 3 or 4 days since they've raced. And if that's the case, then they probably did get suspended. So that's one way you might be able to check. So here's my suggestion, right? So it's one thing to complain, but you got to have a suggestion. So my suggestion is this, have a punishment for each offense, right? Like say list them out. Like iRacing should list them and publish them. Right. So, reckless driving is a warning, right? Until you get 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. But reckless driving is a warning. Intentionally wrecking someone, no matter if it's your first time or your 5th time, it should be the same punishment. Getting under caution. Yeah. Getting hit under caution should be on the list too. But so intentionally wrecking someone where you take them out of the race or cause damage to their car, that could be like a 1-day suspension, whether it's your first time or your last time or your 50th time. It's 1 day, and it's the same for everybody, no matter how many times you've done it or not done it. And then, like you said, taking somebody out under caution, that could be an automatic 5-day suspension, no matter what. Like if you do it, it's 5 days over and done with. And once you've served your time, it's not held against you anymore. So the next one wouldn't be 10 days. It'd be another 5. Like it's not cumulative where they keep increasing the punishment punitively. I think that's my suggestion. I think that would really clean this up. So that way, if a driver intentionally wrecks somebody and turns someone and hooks them to win a race, then iRacing will say that's an automatic, 2-day
No,
suspension anytime you do it.
No. If you turn somebody to win the race, no. I disagree because a lot of people in real life, they turn somebody to win a race. You can't count that last turn, last lap, and taking
Trace,
that
your
guy
mic's out again.
taking that guy out. It should be anything but racing deal, and it's just all part of racing.
Well, okay, but Robert, my point is who cares? None of us are going to.
Well, I care, but it's the last lap.
Okay, well,
You
forget that. Let's
win.
say you hook someone and take them out intentionally. All right.
Okay. All right. I'll go with that.
The point of it is what the point of that wasn't the last lap. It was the point is to have clearly defined offenses with clearly defined punishments that are the same for everybody, no matter how many times you have or haven't done it. I mean, that will work itself out. If somebody's intent wrecking all the time and hooking people all the time, and the suspension for that is, say, 3 days, then if they do it every time they're on, then they're never going to be racing. I mean, it works itself out, but you're never going to permanently ban someone for accidentally bumping someone, but just because they had 10 protests before that, and whatever they got banned for was so ridiculously minor that everybody just kind of scratches their head like, what in the world is iRacing doing, right? Like, that's my thing. Is they should have clearly published offenses with clearly published penalties for each offense.
Any
I
luck,
think
Mike?
that would be a lot. Yeah, you get Tracy. What do you think
All
about
right,
that, Trace?
try it again.
I mean, I talked a lot there, but it's a lot of issues.
Oh,
I feel pretty
I've never
strongly
turned
about it.
anybody for a win. I can say that.
I seen it. I seen it done.
Indy.
I seen it done, and yeah, you wish you guy wouldn't have done that, but it's the last lap white flag, and you're going for the win, and you overdrove it, or whatever, turn the guy for the win. Some people do that. I personally, don't do it, but if people do it
Robert, you need to be my PR guy.
that's how. Look at Haley Deacon wouldn't have won her first race if she didn't turn a teammate, and that. No, you just don't do that.
Hey, Robert, get off this last lap thing. I'm saying.
Okay, if you're the one that brought it to the last lap.
I know. I was just, because it didn't, to me, I wasn't even thinking about that part of it. I was just thinking turning someone, or I'm saying, I'm just saying, what do you think about the idea of having a list set of offenses with a listed
but don't put it on the last lap.
It's the same whether it's your first time or your 100th time doing it. The punishment's always the same, and it's a published list. You do these things, this is the punishment for it, right?
Right, as long as it's not the last lap.
Okay, forget this. Last laps don't count. Fine. I mean,
that's great.
That wasn't the point of what I was saying. The point of what I was saying was it should be published, public, and everybody get the same punishment no matter how many times you have or haven't done something.
Okay. But you're the one that brought up the last lap, so that's the reason see what Mike has put up with.
It is never boring here at the Area 51 Alien Factory.
So anyway, Trace, your thoughts on that?
Well, technical difficulties limits my thoughts on that because I don't know how long my mic's going to last. I mean, I've never, to the best of my knowledge, protested anybody. I've had a couple of people I really wanted to just run over, but never protest. So I'm always one to settle on a track and not worry about getting other people involved. But once I go to the next race, I'm not worried about that guy. So that's how I feel about the protest.
Yeah, but I'd be okay with that too. But the problem is that you would leave it on the track, and I would too anymore. But then when we try to handle it on the track, then somebody protests us, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a sensitive group of special needs kids, and I get it, but it's not a level playing field, and iRacing doesn't award participation trophies, so it's just how it is.
All right, so everybody's wanting to know, what everybody's been talking about. I led some suspense to keep people watching, but I'm laughing because this is so ridiculous. Me and this guy named Tommy Helly's made some contact this week.
Not Tommy Haley.
Yeah.
Hey, is Tommy invited to the show so he can express his views?
Oh no, absolutely not. I've tried talking to Tommy after a race. It wouldn't be much of a conversation. I've tried having discussions with him after races and it never goes anywhere. So I don't think it'd be very productive.
All right.
At least at this point. So anyways, Tommy likes to, man, he likes to finish ahead of where his car really should be finishing, because he likes to burn his stuff up. It is what it is.
So he
burns-
exceeds his abilities.
Yes, he burns
Okay.
his stuff up and then he drops like a rock. Okay. And then, but in that first 15 laps, man, he's fast as lightning.
He's a ball of fire, ain't he?
Yeah. So you get these late race cautions, with like 10 to go, 15 to go, anything less than 15 to go, and he's golden, right? For a good finish on a caution. And I mean, overdriving a turn, has like zero regard for any other person on the track.
Runs out of talent early, huh?
Yeah, he'll overdrive a corner and use your car as a barrier to help bounce all his car back into the turn or whatever. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And so he's done that to me twice at Texas this week. And one of them, he slid up, hit my car, and I just moved up the track a little bit and lost a couple positions, but I didn't get wrecked. Really, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. I was just a little irritated at it. I mean, I wasn't really even that mad. I was just like, that's typical Tommy. Did you guys see what he just did? And everybody's like, yeah, and that was about it.
Yeah, and you got protested
on that race. Yeah. And then the very next race we were in, the dude just drives through me. Same scenario, like 10-ish laps left, maybe 12. And he's just throwing it in there. And he comes through with out of the quad oval into turn one and just never stops and just squares up on my left rear corner of my car and just sends me flying and just drives right through. Didn't care, with like 1 lap to go left in the race. We were on were we on the white flag lap? No, we were on it was the lap before the white flag, and it caused a green white checkered. And I ended up losing a ton of iRating, and he finished really good, right? Because he drives right through me. So on that first race where he bumps me and scoots me at the track, on the second race when he just takes me out, I told him I was going to protest you for that, and then never did, because I didn't see the race and it wasn't worth my time. But I think after I told him I was going to protest him, he went back to the race before and protested me, and for what, I had no idea. So I get this email in my inbox. I'll share my screen so everybody can see the email. It's unbelievable. Let me see if I can find it here. Protest.
Look for the recent one.
Well, only one. It's just, I get so much spam. I get so much spam in my email. I just type in iRacing or protest. Okay, here we go. Got it right here. All right. Let me. Is there any way I don't want to share all that. I can detach that or something, or crap. I don't want to. Well, I'll just pull it out into like a Word document or something, because I don't want to see my email.
It's too bad that Barney the iRacing flagman wasn't here tonight. I'd like to get his opinion on your situation here, because I know he gets to see all this stuff up front, and I'll bet you he don't see it the same way.
Right. I bet. Here we go.
He's in that big red hauler that's in the middle of the infield,
Yeah.
Well, Big Boo Betty might be near there sometimes doing her hot dog.
Right. She might be the trophy girl in their winner's circle,
Yeah. She's been asked, but she's having so much fun selling those hot dogs.
Robert, can you get her on the show?
No.
No?
My screen's not big enough to hold her. I mean, she's not a big girl. No.
And I'm moving my phone number out of this.
Yeah. There you go. Blow up your phone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want to share this, but I want to remove any personally identifying information. Here we go. There we go.
Hey, what is the next track that we're going to for the Monday night strength of field race?
Talladega,
virtual Talladega.
All right, guys.
Monday night, 8 p.m.
All right, here we go. I got my screen ready to share. All right, so here, anybody was gloomy, still waiting in anticipation. Everybody Bring Tommy Helly. Yeah, no. And Cody's harassing me. Cody says Tommy Helly's just faster than Mike. Oh, yeah, on a green white checker, maybe. Anyway.
Cody, we need you for an interview tomorrow too, by the way. Stop by.
Yeah. All right, let me share my screen. And I gotta put this out there. This is just absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
So I'm minding my own business, right? And I get this email on Friday, but I
That's
don't
funny. You're minding your own business. When did you change?
and I don't see it till I don't see this until Saturday. Okay. And I'm chilling out at home on Saturday and I get this email from iRacing. Okay. And it says, and the email is the standard email from them where it says that a protest has been filed against me. Okay. It says, hi, we're writing to inform you the outcome of a protest filed against you. And this is the typical form letter. Okay. Everybody gets the same letter. I've gotten it before. After reviewing all the available information, we do find the accusation of intentional contact are accurate. We respectfully ask going forward that you do not intentionally wreck another driver while on the service under any circumstance. Our goal is to simply try to avoid the situation in the future. Your understanding in this matter is greatly appreciated. We truly appreciate you as a member, and we understand sim racing can be both difficult and emotional. However, keep in mind that repeated racing incidents and or unsporting behavior can lead to a loss of account privileges or temporary account suspension. Blah, 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 blah. It's got the ticket number and everything in there.
Signed
Okay.
sincerely, the Barney the iRacing flagman.
Exactly. And so, okay. So first of all, it's been forever since I've been protested. I probably got 0 protests on my record in the last 12 months. So does this really affect me? No, but I'm upset about it on principle.
Because it says you retaliated against it.
Yeah, and there's nothing in it. So I've got the stream, okay, of what happened. And so here we go. So here's what he wrote. And I know it's Tommy Helly, not because I'm psychic or anything, because he says me. Mike did this to me. So I go back and watch it, and the only person that could have possibly been was him. Okay. And so whatever. I'm not trying to abuse the iRacing protest system by saying it's somebody who didn't do something. I mean, it's got to be him. If you don't want it to be me, then don't say me in the thing so somebody knows it's you. Anyway, it says, once again, driver Howerton intentionally crashes into me and gives me more incident points after the race in retaliation for an earlier incident. Okay?
Also known as payback.
Yeah. So it's
you should have waited till after everybody passes, then you wouldn't have got the extra incidents.
Well, it's a one sentence description. This is one sentence with 2 claims. The first claim is I intentionally crash into him. He intentionally crashes into me. That's claim number 1. Claim number 2 is gives me more incident points after the race. So there's two factual claims here, that I crashed him after the race and I gave him more incident points after the race. So I got it all queued up here. Let me switch my screens that I'm going to share. I've got it. And so I've got it all queued up here that I was showing some of the guys before the broadcast of the time index here of after the race. So this that I'm getting ready to share is the last turn of the race, coming up to the start finish line of the checkered flag and the outlap after the race. Let me share it with everybody here. Stop this screen and let me share my screen again with the YouTube video. All right. And I'll go ahead and put the link to this video in the live chat if you guys want to check it out as well yourself.
Hey, Jonathan Cadell was in there. That's cool.
Yeah, he was in this race. All right.
Steel
So here we
Horse
go.
Live.
This is so I just read you guys his protest.
Oh, Scotty was right behind you, so Scotty
Yeah, he
gets
was.
to see
Let's
all
get
of it.
Scotty's side of the story.
Yeah. So two claims. I crashed him after the race and I gave him more incident points after the race. You guys are about to see if that happened or not right here.
Is that
live
red?
from my
Was that
cockpit.
red car, Scotty? I mean, that red car is that
Tommy Helly's the red car in front of these two. Here we go. So I'm about to take the checkered flag. All right, race is over. This is the outlap in question. I know I got a 1X off track. When did I get a 4X? Let's go ahead. Tommy Helly. No.
You make the call.
You got a 0x. So how does that count? How did that give you more incidents if you got a 0?
Hey, Mike, you're talking with your mic muted, bud.
Okay, so that's it. That's the entire
Well,
outlap. I go to my pit stall.
You
and
got
exit.
it. You got a 0x from touching him.
But I don't think we even touched. I thought it was net code because like I didn't feel anything in my wheel. I didn't hear anything. And he did this weird thing where he like slows down and goes up and then cuts down in front of me. Like, I'm not sure what's going on here, Robert. Like right here, I can watch this again. He swerves up and then slows down. I'm like, what's he doing? Because I was following him and he starts to go up. I start to go up to it. I'm like, what is he doing? Because he's slowing down. And then when he slows down, I jerk the wheel to the left. You see it pointed left there. I'm like, what's he doing? Jerk the wheel to the left and I lock up my brakes right here. And that's it. And that was a 0. That's the only if it even was contact. Like, yeah,
even though it was contact in a 0x, you did not give him more incident points after the race.
Right. Nobody there received any extra additional incident points, and there was no crash.
That's a false statement he gave to iRacing. Something should be done about that.
Well, I think that's crazy. And here's my problem.
Giving false statements to iRacing. That should be a penalty right there.
Well, here's my problem with the whole system. He was avoiding. Well, I don't know what he was doing. So
he probably saw you in the mirror and went high trying to clear you and then got out of the gas hoping you'd go driving by. That's possible.
So anyways, well, if I would have went for him, I would have wrecked his car. I would have been no 0x about
Agree.
it. Well, somebody in the chat was saying I went for him. If I would have tried to wreck him, I just would have done it. Like I wouldn't have tapped him for a 0x. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right?
You're a big, scary dude. You're intimidating.
I guess. So, anywho, I want to get back here.
Your reputation precedes you.
So I wrote them a response.
Dear Barney.
Because this is what I sent back to iRacing. Because I just out of sheer, like, I think this is atrocious for a 0x tap that I locked my brakes up and was trying to avoid to protest someone. Here's the thing. If I was driving like I used to drive 2 years ago and had 5 protests on my record already, that could have ended up in a suspension, right? But since I have 0 on my record over the last year, no harm, no foul, I don't plan on getting any more protests against me. I probably won't. And in 12 months, this will go on my record, and then I'll have 0 again, right? So that's not the big deal. But the big deal is there are people out there, right, that have 2, 3, 4 protests on their record in the last 12 months, and they may be trying to clean their racing up. They maybe they're not, who knows? But iRacing base their suspensions not off the severity of the incident, but on how many you've had in the last X amount of months. And my issue is that they're counting this kind of stuff. I think that's a grave injustice to any driver on the service that's paying for the service. I think it's a grave injustice to any driver paying for the service. So let's.
Mike, if a person intentionally hits me more than once and I protest him more than once, then how's that an injustice to the driver if he's doing that? If he's actually wrecking people, or if he's cussing like a sailor and won't stop, and how's that doing him a disservice as a driver if he's not acting right?
What I'm saying, Scotty, so let me ask you this. Here's what I'm trying to say. I agree with what you're saying, but if somebody did that to you 4 or 5 times and then and they were egregious, like somebody wrecks you intentionally, hooks you, destroys your car intentionally, they should probably get punished for that. If they're going to get suspended, they should get suspended for that. But I think it's crazy that somebody could get suspended for a 0x tap on an out lap when they're headed back to the pits that they were trying to avoid. That's the thing I think is an injustice and crazy.
Well, yeah, I don't think they should have warned you or give you a warning. They should just say, hey, this might have just been an accident and we're just letting you know. Hey.
Right, but that's not the way the iRacing protest system works. It goes back.
Well,
I
I understand that, and I understand you're being upset about getting a warning from them about this incident because you really didn't go after him. You didn't do it intentional, and you didn't barely even touch. If you did touch, it could have been net code.
Hopefully we'll see. Hopefully we'll see Tommy in the wall of shame.
So I'm not really that upset about getting this. Again, I have 0 on my record up until this point in the last 12 months. So this doesn't affect me one bit as far as my racing on iRacing or anything. I'm not mad that necessarily got protested because, again, it doesn't affect me. I'm just irritated at the ridiculousness of it, I guess. I'm just like, that's just wow.
You see how Mike protested? They're a page long. I mean, a full page.
Well, this is my response, Robert. And I step on the screen here. This is what I wrote back to iRacing. I said, "Hey, I'm writing this appeal to protest or to appeal. I'm writing to officially protest or appeal the protest decision below. I was totally shocked to see this protest in my email. Back when I first started iRace a couple of years ago, got a few issues on the track with some warnings and a brief suspension, which I appealed and won. When talking to Nim Cross, I was told that when talking to Nim Cross, I told him that only one of the previous protests were legitimate. And when I got the email, I didn't do it. I didn't do it anymore. But the one the suspension was for and the other 2 were not. Then Nim told me that anytime I believe a decision is not correct, I should appeal, even if it's a warning, because after X amount of warning, he wouldn't tell me how many. I mean, they're very secret about this. They won't tell you how many warnings before they suspend you. And they also won't tell you what the period of time is that they go away. They just won't tell you, but people pretty much figured it out. And there's some discussion about it in the iRacing forums and in Reddit and some places where people have pretty much figured it out. And I can pretty much confirm it from my personal experience from a couple of years ago that's what their thoughts are pretty accurate. It's like a 12-month rolling period that they go away. And then it's X. I can't remember the exact amount of warnings you usually get, but anyway, it's pretty, the information is pretty much out there, but anyway, Nim told me after X amount of warnings, in a given time, you can get a suspension. And it says, the reason I bring this up, this is what I'm telling them in my appeal. The reason I bring this up is because I have only been protested for one on-track incident that I can remember in the last year or so. It's been a while, but it's been a good while ago. Anyway, I appealed and was told that iRacing did not consider appeals on warnings. That totally goes against what Nim Cross told me. And that is not fair to drivers if warnings accumulate towards suspensions, which I think is ridiculously unfair. If you're only allowed to appeal suspensions, but everything that happens before that counts towards your suspension, then you should be able to appeal everything. I said, so I do not have the replay saved because I thought about protesting this driver for complete disregard for other drivers on the track and reckless driving, but I just figured it wasn't worth the effort. However, I do stream the races on my YouTube channel. This is the link to my stream of this race. And I gave him the link to the stream there in the appeal. That says the protest description is not true. The entirety of the protest is once again, driver Howard intentionally crashes into me, gives me more incident points after the race in retaliation for an earlier incident. Please watch time index 1 hour, 8 minutes and 30 seconds to 1 hour, 9 minutes, 30 seconds. The first claim is factually false. I did not, quote unquote, crash into him at any point after the race, but neither one of our cars had any damage, did not crash him. That was his claim. I crashed him. I didn't crash him. And second of all, the second claim is also factually false. I did not give him or myself any X's after the race. Again, you guys saw my screen. I froze the frame there. It was if there was any contact at all, it was a 0X. Well, his claim was I gave him more incident points after the race. That's not true. that we didn't get any X's after the race. As I was attempting to drive back around to my pit stall after the race was over behind Tommy Helly, he moved up the track a bit and slowed down. I immediately locked my brakes and jerked the wheel left, as you can see in the video, to avoid him. I think I might have accidentally barely touched as I went by him, headed into the pits, and I only say that because a 0X flashed up on my screen, and I just thought it was a little net code because I didn't even hear or feel any contact whatsoever. I think everything I described is plainly seen in my view and the view of my cockpit. Please send me a response other than a short form letter saying that you aren't even going to look at this because it's only a warning. I took the time to look this up and write this appeal. All protests, even if they are only warnings, count against your driving record. I did not do this. I did not do this. And the two claims in the protest are not even factually correct. I did not crash into Tommy Helly after the race, and neither one of us received any additional X's to our incident counts after the race. If this appeal is not even looked at or overturned, I'd appreciate a call from someone to explain it to me because I'm at a total absolute loss on this one. And I gave my phone number, and they may or may not call me. They may laugh me off, guys. I have no clue. But that's the story. That is the story.
I think it's time for your annual NIM.
Yeah, time for
NIM
my
call.
annual NIM conversation.
He doesn't do that anymore, right? Somebody else does that now.
No, he does the
Stewart.
appeals. He used to be over the protests to begin with, like the actual protests. Now he was over the protest stewards, but now NIM is over the appeals people. The people that handle the appeals is who he's over. At least that's what he was last year when I talked to him. but last year's conversation had nothing to do with me. I was drug into something else. I was helping somebody else. I was trying to show him some replays and some other things. And the guy didn't know how to show it to him, and he needed me for technical assistance. So they pulled me into a private Discord conversation about it. And that was my second conversation with Nim. But my first conversation with Nim a couple of years ago, Robert, that was all me. That was something I did. And I was trying to change my driving around, and I'd made some real efforts, and I'd been a couple months into it and hadn't had any incidents against me, nothing. Like no protests were filed against me in a couple months or so. And I was really cleaning it up, and somebody was mad at me from stuff I'd done in the past, protesting me about something. Several people did, about something that was a competition issue that, like, I swear to this day, I was not trying to do. And me and Nim walked through it, and he understood. He's like, yeah, I can see your point of view. And I could definitely see where either way, it could go either way. It could go either way. And he's like, I'll overturn the decision and grant your appeal. And so, but and Nim was really cool. It was a great conversation. I talked to him about trying to clean up my driving. He went back and looked at my record. He goes, oh yeah, I can see that. He goes, you used to have all kind of protests filed against you. And only a couple of them we actually thought were actual, like, intentional things. And those are the ones that you got messages about. He was like, but yeah, I can definitely see from your record, you're trying to clean stuff up. And me and him talked about it. And he was really encouraging and helped me out with that one. It was really nice. Like, I liked him. It was a really nice conversation, nice guy. And we cleaned things up. And he told me he told me in the future that if I ever needed a call about something that was just odd, I didn't understand, whatever, to be nice about it. And, they don't normally call people like on everything, but if something's like odd and I don't understand it or something's going on, that just to be asked nicely, and they would give me a quick call as long as I agreed not to berate or harass anybody, because they said they just don't like calling people that are upset about that kind of stuff. And he said it was a good conversation with me, so he didn't mind doing it in the future. So that was 2 years ago. So anyway, yeah, Gloomy, 0X is still a contact, but again, I didn't feel anything in my wheel. I wasn't trying to hit the guys, trying to avoid him.
But the thing is, he gave him more X's, and you didn't give him more.
Yeah,
more
what I'm saying is his claim and his protest was factually inaccurate. He says he gave me more X's. A 0X is not adding to our incident count. One, and two, I can't believe iRacing would even give a warning over a 0X. And two, I wasn't trying to do it on purpose. So I don't know. I mean, I agree. 0X is still a contact. I agree with that. But my goodness, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. You guys can tell.
But it didn't add to incidents. That's what I'm getting at. The 0 did not give him a 5 to a 6. It did not do it. It didn't gain.
Right, and that was his claim. That was my issue.
So
Is
I'm
the-
saying
the two-
stuff should be done if you're giving false claims to iRacing. It's
Right,
like
that's
lying.
my-
It's like lying to Congress, man.
right.
Thumbs up if you agree, thumbs down if you don't.
Right. Yeah. You guys tell me. That's my only issue with this. Gloomy. He's making comments in the chat. We're talking back and forth. My issue is I don't disagree that a 0x is a contact. My thing is, I wasn't trying to do it. He kind of freaked me out when he went high and slowed down. I was like, what's he doing? I jerked my wheel left, locked my brakes up. So I was trying to avoid him. Whether somebody believes me or not, that's up to them. But I was trying to avoid him. That's one thing. Two, the statement he made 2 claims that just are factually not true. He said, I crashed him. A 0x is not a crash. A 4x is a crash. A 4x is whenever damage is caused. 0x, no damage is caused. So my issue is that he said the word crash. It wasn't a crash because a 4x is damaged crash. And the second claim he made was I gave him more incidents. I gave him a 4x and I didn't do that. So those are my issues is his claims were just factually inaccurate. If he would have said, I don't know what was going on with Mike Howerton after the race. I touched him early. I give him a 4x earlier in the race because it was a racing incident. And after the race, he was, driving close to me and he give me a 0x. Well, okay, Cody, maybe you can get damage from a 0x, but we're talking about the outlap. We're talking about the outlap after the race was over. And anyway, if he would have said, hey, I got into Mike earlier in the race and he was driving close to me after the race. And then I got it. And then we barely made contact and it was a 0 and there was a 0x.
Gloomy is tearing you up in the chat.
I don't
man.
care.
Well, that wouldn't be a protest if he did that. That would just
Yeah, I mean, I don't
info-
understand. So
info
I
no.
caught
That's
up
all
to
that
him.
would be.
Okay, so I caught up to him and I was right behind him again. I don't see it. So if I follow you, if I drive past 2 or 3 people and I follow somebody down the track into their pit stall and never touch them, which I did touch him, but I'm saying it. My point is it running behind somebody by a car length or half a car length is not protestable. It's not a protest either. Like nowhere in the sporting code does it say on the outlap back to the pitch you can't run a half a car length off somebody.
So you're saying you intimidated him? We got to call you instead of
So
the
you was-
intimidator
you was
instead of
just
Mr.
following
Excitement?
him.
I tell you,
Following him back to the
Cody's just
pit.
trolling me now. I'm done. You guys, Cody's just
I'm going racing. I'm going to race, I think. Y'all want to race?
nah. ain't gonna
Race,
be-
we got a podcast to do, Scott.
There's
We
only
don't have your
18
kind of
guys
time.
in there. Come on, Tracy. You need to
We're
get in
about
on
done.
this
I
too.
can't race.
I'm
It's too hot at my
starting to
house.
fuck
All
up.
4 of us can get in there and we can beat up on Tommy Haley.
No.
Only if
We'll
Cody
box
spots
them
for me.
in. We'll box them in so he can't go nowhere.
I think Cody ought to spot for Mike.
Yeah, Cody, I need to.
Yeah, there you go.
Keep him out of trouble,
Well,
Cody.
Haley, Tommy might be a part of the wall of shame. You gonna stick around for the wall of shame, Scotty?
Oh, he
We're gonna
hit
have
me
to
in a
get it
race
now.
the
We
other
gotta
day
get it
after
now.
colliding with some cars.
Anyway.
Heavy damage. I still finished 9th though.
Go race with Nurse Bobby.
Nah, air conditioning's still out at my house. I'm not racing. My VR goggles will get all fogged up and it'll be horrible. I won't be able to see anything. Talk about getting protested then. Won't be able to see anything in front of me. Go faster, don't suck. Guys, Scotty's gonna race. I think
And you
that's gonna
thought
wrap
it was
things
tough
up.
Bobby's
on
in the
ya.
race.
I think that's gonna wrap things up tonight. You guys got anything else to add? Trace, you got anything to add to the podcast tonight?
No.
Other than the disappointment of not having Barney the
You don't think
iRacing-
Tommy's in the wall of shame? Just get a little quick look and see if Tommy's
Oh
in
my
the wall.
goodness, Robert. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, my only drawback is I lost my sound early
Yeah.
and Barney didn't show up, so nothing we could do.
We got to do the wall of shame.
Okay, we'll do it real quick. I
Yeah,
was
don't-
trying to get out of it.
I was hoping that Tommy might be in there because of what you're claiming that all these wrecks he's been in there.
I think it was just me.
Well, no, he's been doing it all week. So I've seen him several times.
Cody,
You know,
it's not
auto
the heat,
restart.
it's the humidity.
Humidity.
Cody, it's not the heat.
The
it's
humanity. The humanity.
You
That's
need to
right.
get you a dehumidifier. That would cool the house down.
I don't
She
know,
hasn't come back
man.
from vacation yet, Scott. She'll be back tomorrow. The air conditioner and a dehumidifier will be back tomorrow.
All right.
Are you telling her she sucks the air right out of the room? Is that
Ooh.
what
Hey, Cody's just hanging around to hear his name. Of course, Cody is still the championship points leader. So
Cody's trying to just hear his name.
yeah. Cody just hangs around to make sure we do the wall of shame so you can hear his name on the good side of it. For the championship points leader there in the open. So
That's
Cody,
probably why he's sticking around. Yeah, he wants to see his name at the top.
yeah, he wants to hear his name on the podcast every week.
he might get
Cody
wrecked out tomorrow
Chilindi's
night.
got a 1,000-point lead.
Well, he had 500 last week, so I don't know.
Right. Cody does a great job. It's Talladega, baby. You ready for Talladega, Cody?
Da, 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 da.
As we anxiously await his reply.
That's a wreck fest.
That's a
you-
protest.
You got to kind of stay back in the back a little ways for a little while, or be up front.
See,
Here we
Cody
go.
doesn't race for points. He says, what are those? He races for wins.
Of course he does.
Sure.
All right, here we go. Cody, blah, blah, blah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He's your championship points leader.
I still only 520 points, whatever,
And again, we're making the claim here. Cody just likes to hear us talk about his name, say his name here. So lead so I can sleep. Cody's got 6,666 points, all sixes right across the board.
6,666. Oh my god.
How many more weeks we got
Four
to
sixes.
go? How many weeks we got left?
We're in week. What's this week?
30 something, aren't we?
There's
Cody,
38
what week
weeks
are we
this
in?
season. We are in week
33. We're going to be on week 33 starting tomorrow.
33
wow.
of what?
We got
38.
maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks left.
Yeah, 33 of 38. So there's one. So next week, this starting tomorrow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more weeks, including this week starting tomorrow. So not very many more.
6 more weeks of be open.
Yep.
Well, let's just go straight to all. Let's just go
Puxatawny
straight to
Phil said
all.
there's 6 more weeks. He saw his,
Yeah,
he
and they-
saw his shadow.
Texas and all.
All right. Incident points.
Uh-oh, Mike, I see your name in there. What's that about?
Mike's fourth on the list.
4th.
Well,
What's your story,
this is
Mike?
overall.
That's our overall.
Yeah,
for the-
overall.
overall for
Are
the
you first
season?
in the race?
Huh? On the amount of starts?
My
No.
name's not on that front page, is it?
No. My
Doug-
incident count this year is probably higher than it's ever been per race.
What are you doing?
Honestly, Scotty, I'll tell you, my incident count per race is super high this year. I've been getting cleaned out in some of these short track races and just not going back. Like I'll do one race, have 20 incidents for that week and just quit. I'll be so disgusted, I'll quit. My incident count per race is super high this year.
You got to go to Texas up there. Week Texas.
Well, I am, but hold on, I want to do this math real quick. 590 incident points this year divided by 138 starts. 4.2. That's high. That's high.
You
That-
probably
in
wouldn't
fact-
have that many if you didn't run into Tommy.
In fact, I'll be honest. You know that first year I was on iRacing, I had everybody mad at me.
Oh yeah, we got
Well,
scars from that.
Yeah, we remember that.
Well, I
Oh
think
yeah.
well, I want to tell you something. My incident points that year per race was lower than 4.2.
that's
that's
because
why I
you
always
raced
thought-
1,000 races a week.
I understand, but it should matter incident points. I don't think I was that reckless of a driver as everybody said.
Oh, you were
drove above-
bad. You were bad.
I drove above my head on green white checkers a lot of times and would wreck people like Tommy Helly's doing to make people mad. And that's why I got the bad reputation. But if you just went strictly incidents per race, I really wasn't that high.
You
I
were
was like,
people started knowing you, Mikey, when they saw you coming and diving down in a corner. People just kind of drifted up. Go ahead, go ahead.
I agree. I agree. But if you just strictly go by incident count per race, it really wasn't that bad. This year's probably higher again because like at Richmond, I think I got a 24X in one race at Richmond and quit and didn't run another Richmond race that week this year. So that's why my incident count per race is pretty high.
Okay, let's go ahead and just go to all in
anyway.
Texas. Let's go to all in Texas, and that way we
Texas.
get it over with and get it all over with. Real quick.
All right.
I want to know about the iRacing companion app. That's what I
Go
wanna
to
talk
go
about.
to all. Let's just go to all.
Oh my goodness. 242 instances, 29 starts though, but wow, that's a lot of raw ins. That's a lot of starts. 29 starts. Going. Looks like
Oh, that's not that bad, really.
no,
Texas
it's not
really.
that bad. 67 divided by 8. That's going to be our starting point.
There's one down
8.3.
there with
So
four races and 46 incidents. Number 15.
Well, guy
Yeah.
with eight with 61.
Yeah, no.
4 and 46 would be
4 and 46 is going to be
12,
your
right?
winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
it's
Tommy's not on that list, so he's doing
Adrian
pretty good.
Fry.
See, Tommy's not even up on the top 25, guys. Well, I don't know why you're picking on it. He's not even on top 25.
No, I'm picking on him because the ridiculousness and false claims of that protest. Anyway, again, not that I lost any sleep over it. I was like, whatever. But anyway,
How many races you going to run at Talladega this week? That's what I want to know.
not many.
Two.
Are you going to
But
go
there-
farm safety rating over there?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's easy one to get to.
Oh, yeah.
Adrian Fryer is our Wall of Shame winner this week. A-class license 1.6.
Well, look at his incidents, 1.64. Whoa.
That's safety. Ooh,
Yeah, that's safety.
that's in license loss territory there.
Yeah, well, you know me, I don't like to get below 3 and I start worrying. But
I've lost my road license before. That's a whole nother story.
I mean, he's gonna have to change races or change his technique.
Mike, you were supposed to get a second account so you could farm that on-road license.
Oh, there you go.
Preserve that 700 I rating you got.
Look
Okay.
at Cody.
Oh no, that wait, you
Look
had
at
to race
Cody
to
up there. He
3,000
says-
or something, didn't you?
Cody says 6 weeks left, but who's counting? Then I'm retiring. Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
gonna
the-
go out on top, aren't you, Cody?
Yeah,
Well,
he's gonna
you
hang
guys,
out. He's gonna hang out with Ken Byron.
I'm
Is
out
it
of
gonna
here.
is it
Y'all
gonna
have
be
a good
Cody?
one.
Scotty.
Cody
I'm
with
going
his
to the
middle
race.
initials? Is that what it's gonna be?
Scotty, go race.
All right, guys, that's all I've got. There's your wall of shame for the week. But anyway, we didn't have a guest.
Yeah, the wall of shame.
I don't think we need one, guys. We can carry a conversation for an hour and a half or so about stuff. We do it every day.
Oh, yeah, you come in Discord and we're nonstop talking, boy.
But yeah, let you guys hang out with us for a while, and I gotta air my grievances against the iRacing protest system in general. What
So
about the Hall of
Mikey
Fame?
protests you and you get to read it. Make sure you bring your reading glasses. Because that's a long one.
Well, if I'm going to write something and put effort into it, I might as well put all my thoughts down.
Right.
Make sure
It
they're
was
accurate.
I got mad at Mike because he barely touched me, and it didn't even show up it didn't even show up as a 0. But I said, I was going in the corner. He barely touched me, no 0 or anything, and I wiggled my car in the corner. And he gives me a page long about what happened during that corner.
That's why I try not to write letters anymore. Everybody knows I write big long novels when I write letters to people about stuff or write messages to people about stuff. So therefore I try not to write them because I know I do it. I do it when I tell a story too. I go into stupid amounts of detail. Sometimes.
Yeah. Come on, we got to speed it up. Okay, we're gonna call it quits.
Yeah, we'll call it quits, guys. That's the podcast for this week. We chilled out. Barney the iRacing flagman fell through, but hey, it is what it is.
I'm thinking about getting on. This is no joke. Is what's his name?
Junior?
Mitchell, Andrew Mitchell. He might want to come on.
Hey, we'd love to have him. We'll have a guest for you guys next week. It was just a couple things that fell through this week, and we figured, hey, we'll just do the podcast by ourselves. No big deal. It's the first time.
Andrew Mitchell had a reputation worse than Mikey.
Yeah, but the key word is had.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen him around. Have you seen him in races lately,
He's so.
Robert?
I asked him about coming to broadcast a while back, and he says he's driving with a controller right now. His wheel's broken, so
I don't know if he'd be able to tell much difference, but okay.
Well, he might bring his counterpart in. That one girl he was for a while. So
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to get my triples. Hopefully, maybe if all the shipping is fast enough, I might be able to have it set up by next week. That's cool. And I'll tell you one other thing I want to do, Tracy, and you'll like this, is bring Marcel. I would love to.
Help me out there. Who's Marcelo and how do we get him?
Okay. So Gloomy says bring Marcelo Fernandez. And I think this is the same Marcelo. He talk about having a bad reputation in iRacing. You thought my rep was bad, Trace. It was not even. I was a good, perfect driver compared to some of the stuff he does. He's super fast, was super aggressive, liked to run trucks mostly, but he ran B open a couple times, but mainly he ran trucks. And our buddy Chris Jenkins, who used to be on our, I guess Chris is still on our team if he comes back, but he hasn't been on iRacing forever. He used to run trucks. And it got so bad that me and Chris both, you know how you can type in the shortcuts on iRacing, like where you hit a number, one of your numbers on your number key, and it puts up a phrase or whatever, like pit in, pit out, thank you, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, me and him both reprogrammed one of our number keys that said, Marcelo, please don't wreck me. And anytime, I'm not joking, I'm absolutely serious. Anytime the guy would come up in our rear view mirror, me and Chris would literally pull up out of the way and lift for him, and we would hit the key and say, Marcelo, please don't wreck me. And that's a true story. It was that bad. And we did it every race. In fact, I'm not sure if he thought it was funny or he was also would get mad at the drop of a hat. If anybody touched his car, he'd get mad and just wipe him out. His I rating was probably 3,000, but he was as fast as a 6,000 I rating guy sometimes. And he would just retaliate. He would, if you bumped him wrong, rubbed him wrong, touched his car, looked at him wrong, he would retaliate and take you out. And
he wasn't from Iberia, was he?
No, he was, I think, Brazilian maybe or something. I can't remember, but he ended up getting suspended a couple of times. And the last time was for a decent amount, like maybe 3 months or so.
Wow.
Yeah, I would love to get Marcel. I'm sure he would have all kind of stories to tell. I don't know I don't know how. I'd tell him about me. I'll say, hey, do you remember me and Chris hitting that key every time you tried to pass us? But no, dude, if anybody knows how to get a hold of Marcelo, I would love to have him on. That would be that'd be an entertaining podcast right there, Trace.
Always love a good story, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, guys, that's all we got for the podcast tonight. We've gone 2 hours. I didn't think just the four of us would go 2 hours, but the iRacing protest deal and the sim equipment went into detail. He's back. Oh wow.
All right. Well, we'll have to get our people to reach out to his people, get together and have a thing,
Yep.
But anyways, it's the top of the hour, Mike.
Yep. All right, guys. Appreciate you being with us for the podcast. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. All the subscriptions we get, bell icon gets you notified anytime we go live. And if you like the videos, man, give us a smack on that thumbs up like button. Helps out the YouTube algorithms and gets the videos in front of more people. And then down in the description below is for you guys. We got a 10% off promo code for setups down there. Got an affiliate link to Majors Garage. Plus, they offer free baseline setups at Majors Garage. You got osracing.net for free oval setups for oval, asphalt, oval, dirt. And then Edwards Setup Shop gets you guys free sets for all kinds of stuff in iRacing. Pretty much everything you want, you can get a free set for there at Edwards Setup Shop. Plus, if you guys want a custom diecast model made of your iRacing paint job on a custom diecast model car, We even got him the link down in the description for that for you guys. Dude does it. He's got his Facebook page and he does that. He'll quote you a price and you can get a custom diecast made of your iRacing car if you're into that. So all that cool stuff in the description down for you guys. And guys, that's all we got for myself, the #1 team driver, Robert Cook, and the Admiral Tracy Rumschlag. Appreciate you being with us for this podcast. And as always, we will see you in the next one.
Next one.